Taming Tigers. Do things you never thought you could. Author Jim Lawless. By the tiger, the author means our doubts, that is, the invisible entity that prevents change. The tiger roars when we are about to do or say something we are not used to, take a risk or embark on an adventure. We are afraid of it, and so we immediately retreat. But we created it ourselves, and therefore we are able to tame it, and this book will help. Man always begins to justify his inaction because of fear. Fear of the unknown, or fear of making a mistake. Think back to how often you have ideas that you wish you had and could do. Ideas regarding people you would like to spend time with. Time you would like to spend creating a new project. Skills you would like to learn. Ways you could earn more money, etc. Now think about it. Why do you so rarely do something like this? Some say they have family. Someone says they don't have a proper education. Someone says they have unpaid debts or their age. Someone says they are waiting for their kids to grow up or something else to happen. And someone says that if it didn't work out for them, it won't work out for them. If you say that, but you haven't even tried to talk to your wife, research this topic, make a business plan, or talk to those people who have failed to take into account their mistakes, then you have already met your tiger. He makes you avoid all these things and growls at you, demanding that you stop, which makes you gripped by fear. Fear of the new. Fear of discovering that there is no obstacle but your own tiger. And you've been burning through your life fooling yourself all this time. If you admit it, you'll have nothing to hide behind, right? It's time to admit it. Imagine yourself at 90 years old. You are sitting at home and nothing is happening to your life. Your biggest concern at that age will be whether you remembered to put on your pants. You will remember that you had 70 years of amazing opportunities to do the things you wanted to do. What was the problem? Why didn't you do it? You ended up letting Tiger write your story. So right now, wake up, face the old man in the mirror, and say, I've lived my life to the fullest. I've loved, won, and lost, and I have nothing to regret. I wrote my beautiful story. I didn't let the tiger get the better of me. Sooner or later, you will die just as I will. So let's give ourselves permission to truly live in the now, to write our own story. From this position, your fear of some failure, of a failed acquaintance, or of presenting your innovative plan to your employer becomes rather ridiculous, doesn't it? What are we even worried about? What are we waiting for? Let's get a life. There are 10 rules that will help you get rid of your insecure self and engage in a battle with your tiger. Alas, most people will not follow these rules, even knowing them, and that will be one of your advantages. Rule number 1. Act boldly today. Time is limited. This rule requires you to start taking action. Not to plan for change, not to wait for something, but to start implementing what you have planned. And when you start taking the first steps to live the life you've always wanted, you'll be faced with the question of why you haven't done so until now. You don't know where to start, get other people involved, and get their advice, read articles on the internet, but do at least something today. Take action. So, first think about what you want to achieve, and then set a time frame in which you can actually achieve it. But think about it. What if you were offered $10 million to achieve an outcome in a third of the time you envisioned? What bold action would make you get off the couch to accomplish that? Where would you go? Who would you call? Think it through. Seriously, pause the video and think, what would you do? And you'll actually realize that you don't need that money to do the bold act you just envisioned. Now you know what you need to do to immediately change your life for the better, so take action. Many people will now start looking for excuses. Congratulations, you have met your tiger. Now break through the fear and excitement it brings out in you and do it. Stop the cajoling, stop making deals with yourself. Do it now. It won't get any easier tomorrow. Why are you listening to this video, if not to tame the tiger? You can read 100 other books, but what's the point if you don't take action right now? There are 5 benefits to doing something right now. First of all, you will see that nothing prevents you from doing anything but tiger. When you are in doubt about something, you begin to engage in self-analysis. It is this endless dialogue in your head that promises you all sorts of horrors that is the tiger. But it's not reality. Surely when you've done a brave act, the result was amazing, and the process was not as scary as you envisioned. So realize that the tiger is the only thing keeping you down and start taming it. Second, it will break your habitual patterns of indulging tiger. You and I are slaves to patterns and habits that we've formed since we were children. Think about what patterns you have in your head. Then start breaking them. Don't put things off until tomorrow. Don't be afraid to say no to others, or trivially, take a different route home. Even then, you'll be fighting to fight the discomfort. But that doesn't mean that if your inner voice tells you not to jump off a cliff or not to go to the basement with a strange man, you should do it. Third, you will have a commitment. A commitment is a promise made to yourself or to others. That is, when we decide to do a courageous act, we can agree with someone, make a commitment, and burn our bridges behind us. As the author did when he agreed to participate in a horse race on a bet, even though he had never ridden a horse before. He had only 2 months to prepare, and he faced Tiger many times, but overcame him every time. He called the CEO of the Jockeys Association to train him, without even being familiar with him, and had no idea if he'd spend time on him. He ended up getting an agreement. Once they agreed, the author committed to coming in the next day to start practicing. From that point on, he could no longer back out, his game was up. Fourth, it will lead to quick results. You will begin to understand the topic, meet new people, etc. This will make this activity much easier for you. And fifth, it will help you wake up. People, for the most part, live their lives locked in their own heads, with their own fears. And the first rule starts to make a person whole, leading him in the wanted direction, not where his fears, need to please others, and habits lead him. When you apply the first rule, you'll feel like you've poured a bucket of cold water on yourself. Life is always the present moment. Don't put it off until tomorrow, or Monday, or the first of the month. Take action right now. Rule number 2. Rewrite your rulebook. Challenge it hourly. All your actions are dictated by your performance code. For example, to be a good artist, you have to start painting at the age of 16, or to move to the United States, you ideally need to know English. All of these perceptions will stop you today and tomorrow. They all seem to us to be reasonably justified and unchangeable, which is what your tiger takes advantage of. So before G. Armitage first won a horse race, women just didn't see it as an option. All men put their tiger at the top. So when someone wants to break some norms, the people around them have a vested interest in preventing it, because they risk losing faith in their own code. They risk losing the protection from the fear and excitement that kept them from doing it in the first place. We perceive uncertainty only in the form of negativity, but it can also be missed opportunities. For example, your seemingly bizarre idea could be a huge success that leads to a promotion and double your salary. And meeting a girl could lead to a happy family life. But most people are unwilling or unable to see the positive side because tiger attacks before they get that chance. It's only by conquering fear and anxiety that we can see it. Remember, all the rules we set for ourselves are only an illusion. No one knows what you can or cannot do. No one. But just when you think about disobeying them, the tiger growls at you, and we feel fear and insecurity. But by finding the courage to transcend these rules, you have a chance to win. Even if you fail, don't take it seriously. A healthy fear of failure in writing our own real story allows us to take risks and make those mistakes so that we can suffer the consequences, forgive ourselves, and dispatch quickly, and then persevere. Right now, however, the code of perceptions prevents us from taking even one step to avoid the slightest mistake. He is the main reason for the failure of our aspirations. Never let the fear of making mistakes make you rewrite your history. Pain is temporary, defeat lasts forever. Rule number 3. Head in the direction of where you want to arrive, every day. Many people hide behind the fact that they don't have enough time to accomplish what they want. If you are going to successfully achieve your goal, you need to work on your schedule. You must be willing to pay the price in money, time, or effort that your goal requires. To reach his goal of breaking the record for deep diving, the author, every month, needed a week of training. So he turned down several meetings, invitations to speak somewhere, and a couple projects. It made his tiger growl, but it was a price he was willing to pay. The third rule is necessary to determine the destination where you want to go. Plot a path to that point and move unwaveringly along that path. For example, athletes know the date of an important day in advance. Therefore, the loss of even one day is significant to them. From what they wake up every day with a stimulating thought, to achieve everything that needs to be done for that day if they want to be in the right condition on the important day. In doing so, they give up some things. What is your purpose and meaning? And what is the significance to you today? What is your plan for today? So right now, think about what you're striving for, how you plan to get there, and make a plan that you'll execute day by day. At the same time, if you do not have big goals yet, they can be not big. For example, I will smile at every girl I like on the street, or I will say no if I just don't feel like doing something. All of these things will allow you to wake up and start fighting the fear. You can turn on your imagination. Fantasize about what you would like to do or achieve. Discard the code of perceptions, yours and those of the people around you. Make a note of what might be in your way. For example, if your family, talk and explain everything to them. If the distance to the object, rent an apartment. If it's a combination with current affairs, put off unnecessary activities and meetings for later. That is, find a solution for each obstacle. And finally, do a brave deed. A bold act is the thing you least want to do, and yet it's the thing that will get you to your goal. Do it today, if possible. If it's too late, do it before 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Sometimes we have a fear of discomfort. For example, you would like to start running, but you can't get up at 5 a.m. because of the fear of discomfort. Just the thought of discomfort keeps many people from writing their story. It's only when you get over it that you start to grow, open up, and change. Rule number 4. It's all in the mind. When you want to do something, a saboteur wakes up in your head and starts telling you not to do it, and you start imagining what could happen to you. The fear is only in your imagined future. We need to live in the present. There is no tiger in the present moment. For example, instead of imagining that we might fall off our bike, check that our helmet is buckled, our shoes are laced, etc. By focusing on the present moment, you don't have time to think about what might happen in the future. You simply trust yourself to do what you have prepared yourself for. It is useless to preoccupy yourself with the likelihood of a negative outcome in advance. Often, it is the fact that we are relaxed and calm in the present moment that will lead to a positive outcome. Forget the mental questions. And what if? What if I did? Etc. This way you will immediately start thinking about what could happen to you. In some cases, this will help you prepare for something, but mostly you'll start getting yourself worked up and afraid to do something. And stop criticizing yourself. Most of the time, people think they're less intelligent and capable and beautiful than they really are. When you make a mistake, immediately the inner voice will wake up and start criticizing you. Cut it off. Take a deep breath and tell yourself that everyone in this world makes mistakes. And then ask yourself, what would your role model do in your place? You probably wouldn't criticize yourself. Rule number 5. The tools for taming tigers are all around you. Whoever is in a position to help you accomplish what you want to do at the moment is waiting for your call. Again, tiger will hold you back from making that call. We begin to see ourselves as imperfect and therefore not worthy of someone else's help, and are more likely to quit what we have started. First, you need to become sincere, both with yourself and with others. Many people do not want to ask others for help because they think they will look pathetic, that is, they feel fear again, and start lying to themselves that they can achieve something on their own. Thus, with your pride, you prevent yourself from achieving your planned goals. Right now, make a list of people who can help you. Now call the first person. If they say no, call the next person on the list. The person who can help you is waiting. For example, the author would never have thought that someone would help him realize what he wanted. But such people were found after he made a few calls. And don't start making excuses that you don't have a phone, you'll call on the first day of the month, etc. You can get the phone number from your friends or friends of the person you want to ask. You can't get the number, look for an email. That is, find a way to decide how to contact the person you want. Even if the person says no, what do you have to lose? Or are you that intimidated by the simple answer of no? And yes, never judge or criticize others behind their backs. When you are talking about another person, imagine that he or she is hearing your conversation. Are you sure he or she would be happy to hear what you are saying? Would you be able to say the same thing to him or her in person? When you criticize others behind their backs, you will be afraid that you are the one being discussed behind your back. Rule number 6. There is no safety in numbers. We are told from an early age that it is better to be like everyone else. At school, we are taught not to stand out. That's why we start to convince ourselves that it's better to keep a low profile. And then Tiger starts to hold us back because we're used to being invisible. But that doesn't mean you have to go against the crowd just to go against the crowd. The rule encourages you not to be afraid to stand up and speak out. Your opinion, even if you're maligned afterwards. It suggests that you should not be afraid to be judged by others or to be seen as stupid or smarter than others. When the time comes, you need to make your own decision. Rule number 7. Do something scary every day. Coping with fear and discomfort is an acquired skill that takes practice. Those who avoid these situations always backpedal when they need to take a courageous action. During the course of a day, you encounter many fear-inducing situations. For example, you want to talk to a person, but you are afraid to approach them. You want to speak up in a meeting, but you are afraid. You want to learn a new skill, but it makes you uncomfortable. Take action if you want to live authentically. Tomorrow, for example, try to make the person you buy coffee from laugh or sign up for a yoga class, even if it's scary to go. Every day, by doing things that stress us out, we summon the tiger. And every day, if we push ourselves, we realize that he has no teeth, he's not scary. So we overcome the temptation of doing nothing to avoid seeing the tiger. And after a while, we will get rid of this animal reflex reaction and master the skill of coping with fear and discomfort. Rule number 8. Understand and control your time to create change. You have only one scarce resource that you cannot make up for: your time. Most people, however, start out saying that they are too busy to do anything of interest to them. There is a term for missed opportunities. That is, you are always faced with a choice, such as attending a pointless meeting that will take up your entire day, or writing a new business plan that could enrich you. Write down any tasks that take up too much of your time. For example, a car ride to attend a meeting that takes 2 hours one way. And then think of ways to reduce that time. For example, tame your tiger, call your supervisor, and arrange to attend the meeting via video link. You could also needlessly waste time having idle conversations with coworkers instead of working, spend hundreds of hours knocking out achieves in games that won't get you anything, etc. This is time you could be spending taking care of your health, meeting new people, learning a new skill for your career, working on your finances, or doing something that scares you. You should always keep this in mind when you are spending your time unproductively. Remember that your situation now is the sum total of all the choices you have made up until today. Your choices are the deeds you have done and the deeds you have not done. And your perfect and imperfect actions are the things you have and have not invested your time in. So to keep track of your time, start a daily planner. And at the end of each day, ask yourself, how many times did you tame your tiger today? Do the actions done today really contribute to your story? Write down not only what you've done, but also what you want to do for the next 2 weeks. Don't be afraid to say no to activities you're not interested in, and say yes to activities you'd like to do but are nervous or afraid of. If you have tasks that someone else can do, delegate them. The tiger inside of us doesn't trust other people, so we constantly think we will do something better than others. However, if you can't trust other people, you won't get ahead as a manager or leader, and you'll never have time for anything else. Finally, try taking the nursing home test on a monthly basis. Look back on the past month and decide if you will have any regrets in your old age. Remember, time passes. Tick-tock. Rule number 9. Create disciplines. Do the basics brilliantly. Plan your day to be productive from the start. Meditate or exercise. Cut out junk food. Plan your day so that you are constantly moving toward your goal. Go for an evening jog, etc. Remember that almost all successful people, the creators of their history, who created their routine and adhered to it daily. As the aphorism says, there are no extraordinary people. There are ordinary people doing extraordinary things. All of them met their tiger and tamed it to realize what they set out to do. For a writer, a productive day is to sit down and write, at least a few words each day. For those in the equestrian field, it's eating healthy exercising, and getting 8 hours of sleep every day. Tiger will tell you, they have it easy, they're smarter, tougher, and something else. But every great athlete became that way because of their discipline. Each had a hard time saying no to friends when they went to the bar to have dinner and drinks with the girls, while an athlete needs to take care of calorie rationing and getting up at 5 a.m. Rule number 10, never give up. Well, it's simple here. No matter how hard it is for you, but you know that something will make your life better, don't give up on it. Improve things, change tactics, but pursue that goal. Don't let the tiger eat you up. This is the end of the book. I hope this has motivated you to do something you've wanted to do for a long time, but were afraid to. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave in the comments what brave deed you did. Bye.